Chair recognizes the member for Biche-St. Paul, Two Hills.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is indeed an honour to have the opportunity to address this Assembly in response to the speech from the throne as MLA for the people of Biche-St. Paul and Two Hills. Congratulations on your election to Speaker of the House. I understand it's a very challenging role, and I look forward to working together with you and the rest of this Assembly to make this the 29th Alberta Legislative Assembly an effective and fair government for all Albertans. Mr. Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself and the many communities I represent and some of the main issues I will be addressing over the next few years. I was born and raised in the Two Hills area, more specifically Duvernay, Alberta, and my parents are Billy and Joyce Hanson. My wife Donna and I now live on a farm that we purchased from my grandparents' estate in and around the hamlet of Owlseye. Both my wife and I have spent most of our lives living within my constituency. Donna, daughter of Florence and Joseph Labant, was raised in the Cork Hall area west of St. Paul, and we will be celebrating 34 years of marriage this August. We are a very multicultural family with English, Swedish, Ukrainian, and Irish heritage. With the marriage of our son Dean to Sarah Dargy in 2011 and the marriage of our daughter Nikita to Adrian Pomerleau this September, we will be adding French to our family of United Nations. True Canadians, I think you would agree. Our son Dean is entering his last year in medicine at the U of A, and his wife Sarah is a practicing veterinarian. Our daughter Nikita is an RN at the U of A hospital and is marrying Adrian, a carpenter. I should be well taken care of in my old age. My grandfather, Leslie Tennant, was the blacksmith in Owlseye for many years and was married to Elsa Bergman. My children are the fourth generation to live on the property at Owlseye. Fifth, if you include that my great-grandfather Lancelot Tennant also resided there for a time. Owlseye was once a thriving community with 3 grain elevators, 2 stores, and 2 gas stations, and was a hub for local farmers to get together at Community Hall for celebrations. Now, like many small communities in Alberta, after the loss of the railroad branch lines, we were reduced to just a few families. My great-grandfather, Swan Hanson, was a successful farmer in both the Glendon and Fort Saskatchewan areas and was a true pioneer. Records show him settling here prior to 1905, while Alberta was still considered Rupert's land. I have very strong ties to this area and I'm very proud to be here representing the people and communities of the Biche-St. Paul and Two Hills constituency. I represent a number of very interesting and unique communities. This is one of the larger constituencies in the province and has a very diverse economy, including agriculture, oil and gas, tourism, and innovative technologies. We are also home to 4 First Nations, Beaver Lake, Heart Lake, Saddle Lake, and Whitefish Lake, and 2 treaty areas. We cover 2 treaty areas, Treaty 6 and 8. And there are also 2 Métis settlements, Kikino and Buffalo Lake, within my constituency. These communities add an incredible historic richness to our cultural diversity. I was very proud to have received my very first Eagle Feather at a recent graduation at Portage College in a ceremony conducted by Elder McGilvery. It was a very moving experience. Our communities share a very long history in the province of Alberta, and a few of them before we even became a province in 1905. The Biche Mission was established in 1853, making it one of the oldest established communities in Alberta. Biche is a very vibrant community with a proud history and a strong base in tourism and agriculture, as well as being a major hub for the oil and gas industry of northeastern Alberta. There are a few small neighboring communities in that area as well, Plamondon, Venice, and Hilo. I recently visited Venice for their annual Venice Days and discovered they were celebrating 101 years of Italians settling in that area. This event is held the first Sunday in June, and I would recommend the fresh pasta dinner to anyone. The people of Biche are obviously also very patient. Here it goes. They have waited for 10 years to get a proper dialysis unit in the hospital and have been putting up with a broken down bus in the parking lot as a stopgap for the past 4 years. That's news to everyone, I bet.
Shame.
In this same hospital, they've been patiently waiting for AHS to replace the therapeutic bathtub that quit 4 years ago. A new one has not been installed despite the community raising funds for it and purchasing it 3 years ago. It's been sitting in a crate ever since. You will be hearing a lot about these issues in the upcoming months and years if need be. I will not let up until they're fixed. Down in the southwest quadrant of my extensive constituency, we have many smaller communities, mostly settled by Ukrainian immigrants in the early 1900s. There are a string of them running along Highway 45 and the railroad, Wellington, Harry Hill, Two Hills, Bovalin, Mussadora, Murnum, and Derwent. These mostly farming communities still maintain strong ties to their proud Ukrainian heritage. In recent years, the town of Two Hills and surrounding area have seen an influx of Mennonite families who have served to revitalize this community. The increase in population also comes with increased infrastructure demands. The Mennonite community has been promised a new school for some years now, and indeed construction was started 2 years ago. However, the project is fraught with difficulties that have made me conclude that the project should be scrapped and renewed in a safe location. Construction is currently halted due to structural failures before the walls have even gone up. The issues with this project include the site is built on an artesian well. There are methane buildup issues underneath this new school. There will be no room for a playground or staff parking because the school is being built on an existing schoolyard with zero room to grow. Finally, the school is designed to house 500 students while current enrollment sits at 650. This community deserves a safe school that will support community growth. The existing plan does not serve the needs of the community. It is unsafe and needs to be halted immediately. You will be hearing a lot more about this from me as well. Following east along the North Saskatchewan, we have Heinsberg, Lindbergh, and Elk Point. Lindbergh is home to the Windsor salt plant that was established in approximately 1948. The Elk Point area was settled around 1908, and in 1955, 10,000 people showed up at the Elk Point to witness the opening of the bridge over the North Saskatchewan River. Huge numbers for 1955. The Elk Point area has experienced significant growth over the past decade due to rich oil and gas resources. 2 trading posts, Fort George and Buckingham House, were established along the North Saskatchewan River in that area in 1792. The town of St. Paul originally was settled as a Métis colony in 1896 and incorporated into the village of St. Paul de Métis in 1912. It is home to a very strong Francophone community as well as an ever-increasing diversity of cultures as we welcome new immigrants from all countries. The St. Paul area is well known for its abundance of lakes and wetlands, all of which deserve our stewardship and protection. Water is our future. The St. Paul area also has many smaller hamlets such as Ashmont, Mallaig, Lafond, Vilna, Lottie Lake, St. Vincent, St. Lina, Spedden, Bellis, St. Edwards, and of course, Owlside, my hometown. The village of Vilna claims the world's largest mushrooms, beautifully constructed by a welder craftsman friend of mine, Richard Howiuk, and it's definitely worth stopping in if you're ever going down Highway 28. The people in my constituency are very hardworking, whether in the extensive oil and gas industry, agriculture, or the many other support services that make up a true community. They are a very generous people, which can be shown by our many volunteer groups and charities. For instance, the hamlet of Mallaig hosts an event every August long weekend called Haying in the 30s to raise money for a cancer support group of the same name started by a great man in our area, Edgar Corbier. Haying in the 30s is celebrating 16 years this August. The weekend is very entertaining and showcases farming as it was done by early Albertans by hand and by horse. It's very interesting, worthwhile the trip. What I love about this organization is that it is 100% volunteer, meaning that 100 cents out of every donated dollar goes to support people diagnosed with cancer, to help with unexpected costs, and to show that the community cares. There are a lot of organizations out there that could take a lesson from Mr. Corbier's vision. My constituency is also a valuable resource to all Albertans with many lakes and recreational areas. Our fishing and hunting opportunities are second to none. The people of this constituency deserve good representation and support from their provincial government. As an area that accesses and holds large natural resources, we deserve reliable, reasonable access to health care and emergency services. The loss of Medivac access to the municipal airport in Edmonton was an insult to all Northern Alberta people and the industry involved out there. We have had to fight to keep hospitals open in communities that have grown significantly and that support thousands of uncounted workers that support the oil and gas industry that live here temporarily but are not considered when our needs are analyzed from a bureaucrat's office in Edmonton. We deserve support for our local schools and infrastructure that recognizes the significant contribution this area provides to the provincial economy. Our infrastructure was not designed for the growth we have experienced, and we can no longer be ignored. Schools need to be built, highways need to be maintained and upgraded. We deserve support for seniors, to whom we owe so much. And I will work toward local senior facilities that respect the needs and traditions of our elders in their own communities. I am very proud to have been chosen to represent the people of Lac La Biche, St. Paul, and Two Hills, and hope that during my time at the legislature, my work will improve the future for this constituency and all Albertans. Thank you for this opportunity.